Okay, so I went to the church. I recently bought the X5 Insta360 camera. Here it is on a light stand that I also bought. It's quite heavy, like 5 kilograms. So it's quite just so it doesn't wobble around, right? And so this was the camera. It's just come out, I guess. I also had a little fitting that I got, which I'll put a link to, so that you can go on to. It's like a quarter-inch thread that then goes onto the lug or whatever they call it on the light stand, because the light stand by themselves don't normally have quarter-inch threads on it. But this allows me to have it up to like 10 foot if I wanted to, right? So it's quite useful, and it's got wheels so I can push it around, and brakes, which I actually needed, because the thing was it started rolling around. It was a bit sort of like, oh, we were in a church, it's a bit spooky. I'm sure it's just the floor wasn't level or whatever, but it was quite weird. It was just sort of, oh, it started to roll around. Anyway, won't dwell on that too much. So here is what it came back with. This is exported out the Insta360 Studio app as the photo DNG, which does the stitching and everything for you. I was having trouble getting taking the straight DNGs out, because you could run it through something like PT GUI, but their thing's pretty good, so I just went with it in the end. Although I had this issue with the clipping, right? So I just thought I'd quickly show you that. And for that, what I did is I first of all, we needed to lift up the shadows. I think what I did I adjust the exposure. So yeah, just adjusting the exposure. So it's slightly clipped. I think that's why it's that sort of weird pinky color, right? So we don't want it pinky, and we want to lift up the shadows, right? So right up, and you can see we get something quite usable. And then you would just select your load, select the load like this with your whole lot or whatever, and then right click, apply grade. Okay, so you don't do that. Then to the export page. Now this was a bit of, I went with 16-bit PNGs, because I wanted to try and retain the color stuff, right? So, so you got PNGs or TIFF. I might have used TIFF actually. I can't remember, but it seems worthwhile, since we've got the raw files, to see if we could try and maintain the fidelity in the colors. So I went I think I went with TIFF in the end, and then I took that into Metashape and imported them in. Here they are. You can see it's like almost 16K, so they're quite big. Although it's just not tack sharp. I was a little bit disappointed that. But what you need to do once you've imported your lat longs in, under camera, you need to change it to spherical, right? And then you don't need to worry about the distortion and everything. You can solve them all out as spherical. But the problem is if you want to do like a Gaussian splat or something, is the Gaussian splat program, or Colmap, the sort of file interchange format, a bit like FBX, I guess, it's camera poses and image planes and all the rest of it, doesn't support lat long images. So you need to find some way of converting these into, hopefully they'll add this in the newer versions of Metashape, but you have to, there's a little, I'll put a link to it, but there's this application that this guy's written that what you need to do is basically in Metashape, export the camera as add yourself Metashape XML. You can optionally do the point cloud as well, the sparse point cloud. We don't need it meshed or anything, and put the output where you want the Colmap to be written, and also your input for where the source images are. And what this will do, and also set the resolution. I set it to a quarter of the 16 or 15 point whatever, quarter of the resolution across it, which was like sort of 3,880, I think, was what I set it to. So put that in there, and then once that was all set, just run it. And then that spat out, that would generate a new Colmap database that you could then import into Brush. I was having a bit of problems with it, so in the end I just went into the Colmap file and redid another version in Metashape, with them, as you can see, split out into, because what the Colmap file splits it out into these pinhole cameras, right? That turns the lat long. I mean, you could do this in Blender by putting an environment map and rendering out a 90-degree field of view camera, right, to give you a similar sort of thing, right? But that's what that script does. It effectively exports all of these out. So you've got sort of orthogonal. Not, I mean, she's not super sharp. I was just a bit disappointed. Is the I wasn't sure if it was a tripod moving or, I mean, that should be absolutely, the thing is really heavy. I mean, 5 kilograms is quite heavy for a light stand, but yeah, somehow I still managed to get motion blur, which is a bit like, annoying. Anyway, so I also did obviously mesh the model as well, just because I thought, that'd be good to have. And then the next thing would be to export export cameras and do the col map thing, right? So you set it to so rather than set it to the, I mean, you don't need the mesh model. You can use the sparse point cloud model and the camera poses and go export col map and create a folder, and that will create a new col map that I've got going in Brush at the moment. Here it is. You can do it. That's the great thing with the col map thing is you can both, use it in post shot or Brush to generate the Gaussian splats. So you'd go directory and locate. Oh, it's done something now. Go and locate the col map thing, and you go to the root folder of the col map export that you've done from Metashape, and then this. I might as well do it now. Select it, and then you set number of steps. Set the resolution to the output resolution that we set in the conversion program. So I'll put that seemed to be work for me, and then just hit start, and off it will go, do its thing. As you can see, it's sort of busy. It was this one here that I was supposed to be using. It's but you can see, I know this is going to come out really well. Despite the fact that it wasn't terribly sharp, I think this is just the coverage is really good. As you can see in Metashape, right? If I can just zoom out a bit and maybe hide the mesh for a second, you can see we've got really great coverage. But the great thing with the col map thing is with this one here, you've got a Blender add-on, photogrammetry add-on that can import loads of different photogrammetry formats. But we're going to go with the col map, right, as our sort of interchange. This is sort of bypass the FBX Autodesk thing, right? So, I mean, I know most places use Autodesk, FBX, but if I can find another way, and plus it works, for the splatting, right, which is great. So, so then if we go to Blender, and you would install the add-on, preference, and then got it in here. There you go, that's it there. And that will give you a menu over here, which I don't really bother with. Yeah, I don't whatever. Then you go File, Import, Col Map. And what you need to do is navigate into that's correct. That's into the sparse, go into the Col Map folder, and then sparse, and then 0, and into this folder here. So put the path to where the images are. Okay. Import, that should all work. Import. I was first getting loads of errors, but you have to go through, as I say, the col map folder. You see we've got them all there, great. And if we jump into any one of them, all the cameras are all set up for us all already, which is pretty good. You don't know manual, no having to find, having to find any of the, relink anything. You just, So there we go. It all lines up. So I guess we might as well export the only thing that's a bit crap is because it's like Blenderland and it's Z up. It's of course rotated round. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the geometry from Metashape. So let's do that. File export. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do, in fact, what I'll do it now, is just create an empty and stick everything under the empty. Cameras, point cloud, the works. Because the empty will be created at the origin. Let us do the lot. And then hold down Shift. And then I should be able to drag it onto there like that. Now that's got everything there. So we should be able to just rotate that. Is that 90? There we go. There we go. Yeah, so there we go. It's all nice and let's switch the relationship lines off. It just gets a bit confusing. There we go. Might want to select all the cameras and make them a bit smaller. See if we can just make them smaller here. Make it smaller here. No, hold down. Is it Alt? There we go. So you can see I've got some up on the on the. I could have gone higher, I guess, but it came out pretty well. And see how brush is doing. So yeah, I mean that's the advantage of Colmap is it's kind of established sort of photogrammetry format as opposed to Autodesk proprietary nonsense. It's open as well, and as you can see, it brings in all the pictures as well. If you put paths them and all everything, so you don't have to reconnect anything. So it's pretty. Yeah, I mean that's coming out all right. How I set it to. We got 10 times more. So it should be done in about an hour, I think. I mean, it's looking pretty good for already, to be honest. But I'll be curious to see how if it gets similar sort of sharpness to the original source images. So anyway, how's the export doing? Oh, we're done. Right. Okay. So back to Blender and then go File, Import, and we're going to have to rotate the mesh 90 degrees. OBJ, do it. There we go. It's in. Right. So now we've got the cameras. So if we jump into any of the cameras, maybe one that's actually looking to the direction we want. Okay, go into that one. We should, if we go. Oh, we still have to go front though, don't we? There you go. So that's it. I shall stop the video.